Congratulations again to Prasanna and to both of our outstanding award recipients. We're so inspired by their dedication and impact, and it's leaders like this what makes Northeast Ohio region so special. Now, as we shift gears, we are so excited to dive deeper into the broader conversation around businesses that are thriving right here in our region and learn about their experiences in partnering with economic development ecosystem. So I'd like to invite all of our panelists to this stage, and as they make their way here, I will welcome them. We have our moderator, Christine Nelson. She is Team NEO's Vice President of Project Management and Site Strategies. We have Sarah Nash, owner and CEO of Novagard, the largest woman-owned company here in Ohio. We have Ben Squires, Head of Government Affairs at Howmet Aerospace, and Allison Will, owner and president of Tuftex Balloons. I also encourage you all to scan the QR code that you see on your agenda. You can learn a lot more about our panelists and about the economic development here in Northeast Ohio. Christine, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Bridget. Is this on? Yes. Okay, good. All right, good morning, everyone. Wow, it is so great to see such a wonderful crowd here this morning. Thank you so much for coming. All right, so we've seen examples already this morning of real innovation, growth, and commitment to Northeast Ohio and to Ohio. And it's been a really exciting start to the day. I hope you all agree. So many of you here in the room were instrumental in driving the region's success in 2024. Which you saw was a great year for us. Thank you very much for all of your work. The incredible results were achieved wouldn't have been possible without your dedication and collaboration. So during our panel discussion this morning, you'll see some of these standout achievements highlighted on the screens. There's a running video that's going to go. I would ask you to pay attention to all of the logos of all of the companies that we helped last year. I think a lot of you are in the room, so thank you again. All right, so good morning, panel.
Morning. Good morning, Christine.
Thank you so much for being here. I think we're going to start with just allowing you to introduce yourselves. So if you could maybe share a brief overview of your company, that would be great. Allison, do you want to start?
Sure. First of all, I'd like to thank Team NEO, Jobs Ohio, and also Sarah Ross, who just received the award. Our business is located in her area in Huron County, in Norwalk, Ohio, actually. And my husband and I are from Sandusky. That's where we live. Norwalk is about 25 minutes from south of Sandusky, for those of you who might not know. The business that we bought our business in 2017. It has been in continual operation at the original location in Norwalk since 1915. And we bought it from the founding, descendants of the founding family. So we are the second family to own this business. We manufacture premium quality latex balloons. When we purchased the business in 2017, my husband, Mike, and I had no manufacturing experience and probably had hardly ever bought a balloon. We knew nothing. Before we purchased the business, have been a funeral director and embalmer for many years. And my husband has worn many hats. He was the economic director or economic development director, as well as a city manager in the city of Sandusky for many years. And he's accounting entrepreneur, whatever. We own a couple other businesses in Sandusky, so we were used to having a business, but not a factory. So it was a big transition for me to go to work in a factory. Besides the funeral home environment, it was like I said, it was a very big transition, and I've learned a lot. The market we serve, we make premium quality, like I said, balloons. So we primarily sell to professional balloon artists and also to the promotion and advertising industry. We have grown a lot, which has been great due to many factors, but a lot of it has been, luck, hard work, all of the above, as many of you understand. We received the Jobs Ohio Inclusion Grant in 2021, and it was at the urging of Sarah. She helped me tremendously along the way, and her, at the time it was the Norwalk Economic Development Corporation that she was working for, and she, like I said, urged us to kind of go down this process. At the time, we signed up for adding 6 new jobs. We had 29 employees at that time. And since then, we also committed to adding $1.87 million in investment. Since then, we've grown from about 30 employees to over 70. We have invested $4 million in 2 new production lines. We also almost $250,000 in our shipping and handling for our latex that we receive weekly. And we're nearing completion on a $2.4 million addition to our facility. So we're pretty proud of the strides we've made along the way, and we're really thankful for this opportunity for sure.
Thank you so much. Sarah, give us an introduction to Novagard.
Great. Good morning, everybody. I first got involved in Novagard in 2018 as the 55% majority owner. I'd had a 30-year career with J.P. Morgan, ended up as vice chair leading our client relationships globally. So you're saying, why would she do that? Novagard is located in the heart of industrial Cleveland, downtown, 53 in Hamilton. I love the location. We are smack between University Circle, which is newness, and downtown, also a hub of great economic activity, and right off 90. So to just give you a sense, even though 2 blocks in, it looks a little crazy, we've got great neighbors, so we're a big part of that community. So why did I do this? I saw an opportunity in silicones. Novagard now, we believe, is the leading manufacturer of specialty silicones for certain key sectors. At the time, we were pretty much a foam company, PVC foam, directed at industrial markets, as well as position these silicones in lower price markets in the construction area. And I thought if we could leverage our knowledge of the technology, we could reposition the company into growth markets, which are electronics, automotive mobility, solar, other power, and recently space and aviation defense. So we are very committed to transitioning the company not to leave in any way what I now call building systems, because we have a long-standing great business there where silicone is highly valued. But why silicone? Why does it matter? Silicone is the material that coats most things today because it's thermally efficient, as we call it. It works very well at extreme temperature, very high, very low. And as everything has become electrified, miniaturized, heat is generated in many places. And the climate too. And clearly as you are above, way up in space or down below under the water or on the road, you need a material that flexes with the technologies of our customers. So we say we power the technology of our customers. That's what we're there to do. Material is an enabler, it's an adhesive, it's a coater, it's all these things. So we would not be here, we would not be the company we are. It started at a little meeting I had in Columbus. I'm chair of the board of Bath & Body Works, and they are very close to Jobs Ohio. And they said, you have to call Jobs Ohio. So it started with a call into the center, Matt Sobalski and Dana, and from there they propelled me north towards Christine, and we've had a magnificent partnership. I am thrilled to say I was the first ever recipient of their R&D innovation grant. And Bob Smith at the time had to let me down easy because I asked for $25 million. Then they guided me to 10, and I ended up at 4, which I was told is the largest ever, and I should be very grateful and stop asking for more. But many people in the room know me, and I never stop asking for more, and I ask everybody. And we're going to talk about that, I know, in the next sector, but I am deeply grateful to this partnership. It enabled me to go to my partner at Huntington Bank, Sean, thank you, and Steve in Columbus, to help me with my own capital, which I've kept in there to really grow this business. So today, this new business accounts for about 13% of our revenue from 21, really began 22, and we hope by the end of next year it'll be over 20%. What have we done with the money, which is why they gave it to me? Really important. We had a very old industrial plant, 5 buildings. We had no power that could enable us to power robotics equipment. We had no robots. We had no automation. We had nothing. And so my vision was grounded on belief, not fact. But that's okay, because I had very strong belief. So I set us on a path to, at the same time, automate our mix room, which is the heart of what we do, build 2 highly specialized rooms, one for specialty UV cured materials that we make that cure in 3 to 5 seconds. Why does that matter? Because it reduces the total cost of manufacturing as well as manufacturing space, which is really important for now and going forward. It makes our employees smarter. We don't have to hire as many, and our products are more consistent. And upstairs in the lab, I haven't yet renovated their facility because we need more money, but we invested considerably in the equipment. So I have applications and test equipment that would be the envy of multi-billion-dollar companies. And that's what has powered us forward. Innovation first, on our own and in partnership with our customers, automation of the facilities, beginning the adoption of smart manufacturing, and finally keeping the customer at the center of everything we do. We're 140 people strong, we're mighty and brave, and we love Cleveland, we love Northeast Ohio, and thank you also to the state of Ohio. It's truly true what you have done for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Ben, introduce us to Howmet.
Yeah, well, great to be here, and I love to hear about fellow manufacturers in Northeast Ohio. Howmet is a new old company, so I think most of you would probably know us as Alcoa. We've had a presence in Northeast Ohio for over 100 years at our forging facility on Harvard Ave, just around the corner. And we reorganized in 2020 as Howmet Aerospace. And so fundamentally what we're doing is jet engine airfoils, titanium and aluminum forgings, forged aluminum wheels, and fasteners. And so as a manufacturer, it's kind of all the things that get you from point A to point B that you don't really think about. But there's a Howmet airfoil that took me from DC to Cleveland last night, and it's just, again, to be part of this industrial hidden history of this region with so much talent, with testing equipment, which maybe we need to use, Sarah, if you have so much to offer, which is fantastic, but also the partnership of Team Neo and Jobs Ohio. I think of the rebuild of the 50,000-ton press, a super unique asset for forging large monolithic components for our customers. That happened because of the port. It happened because of Jobs Ohio. It happened because of Team Neo, Ohio Development. It's truly a partnership. Our most recent project is to expand and build a new facility in Brecksville, as well as expand a facility in Cleveland that we have that supports our jet engine component manufacturing business. It's going to help with talent acquisition, right, which is critical. We've got to find 60 new folks. It's a war for talent, as folks know out there, so have to find specialized skills, supporting kind of with a payroll credit, and also supporting with an economic development grant to offset the cost of capital. So it's been a tremendous relationship, and just echoing my panelists here, we're glad to be here and proud to be manufacturers in Northeast Ohio.
Wonderful. thank you all. You all mentioned different aspects of how your company has been able to grow with the support of the economic development system, and I appreciate that. You're all clearly involved, very involved in your communities as well. And so I thought maybe you could take a little time to talk about how your involvement in the community has also supported the company growth, and any examples you have of partnerships or relationships that have developed out of that community involvement. You want to take it, Ben?
Yeah, sure. I'd be happy to talk a little bit. So I think one of the unique things that we have at Howmet is we have the Howmet Aerospace Foundation. It's a 501c3 that makes charitable grants to primarily workforce development and STEM education efforts. And I think so that's supporting things like Tri-C, CMSD, other programs that, again, as we think about that kind of next generation of talent, that's going to really benefit all of our businesses. I think talking about those kind of in-demand skills, working and starting at a young age, but also thinking about, kind of looking agnostically at the where, right? So is that at Tri-C? Is that at K through 12 education? Is it even higher ed kind of systems that we have? So I think those partnerships, and then working with folks that we were sitting with, Mayor Kingston from the city of Brecksville, talked to Walt Good earlier with Team NEO, who's really, I've worked with, I think, on 4 or 5 economic development partnerships, and the list goes on, right? I think all those things kind of create the circle of goodness, right, that I think we're all trying to benefit from, of new talent, deeper relationships. When I call Walt, he kind of knows the business dynamics that we're facing, right? And in aerospace, it's a very exciting time. There's a lot of demand out there, and so we're trying to meet that demand. And when you have partners that understand that holistically, it's just a great benefit to us, and it's kind of why, as we look at investing all over the U.S. and really the world, Ohio just stands out, right, for those reasons. I think also for the adaptability and accessibility when we go in and kind of raise those concerns or have those asks, as Sarah mentioned too. So.
Thank you. And Sarah, you're involved in not only the Cleveland community, but the Columbus community as well. So how have those partnerships helped you?
Let me just, yes, I mean, Columbus partnership is a fabulous example, as we all know, of the rebuild of Columbus. But I was struck getting more involved with Cleveland of the breadth of resources that are out there. And admittedly, it took me a little time to figure out how everybody connected together. But it started with Magnet coming in once we got our grant, and they have been really helpful in helping us take advantage of investing in funds, for example, even to upgrade and automate to the degree we can our PVC foam line, which is like from the dark ages. But we needed to get controls on there to improve the quality of the product. And so we're about to have them come in the plant. It's always, 50-50 proposition, or 1/3, 2/3, which is great because they propel more investment on my part with the support of the bank and on their part. So they then connected me over to Cuyahoga County, where we got some money for upskilling our workers in the automation room, which made absolute sense. And then my head of process engineering was recently at a symposium, and he met Manufacturing Works of Cleveland. And they thought we would be a great example because I am all about digitizing everything. I really don't want to be a company with many, many people, although we have doubled our payroll since the challenge from Team NEO, so I'm really excited about that because we've really upskilled and added fabulous talent. And I think about it in those terms as much as I think about it in people terms, because you're going to get more, state's going to get more tax revenue from that doubling. But in any event, they are now helping me. We've mapped our ability. They're assessing our digitization readiness, and they're going to map us. We already have digitized our R&D process. We've digitized the mix room. We've done some processes in finance. I'm going to meet with a team on marketing and lead marketing, not Salesforce, but much more AI-driven opportunities. So we needed help to pull it all together, and I think we're a great example with 140 people how to keep those jobs upskilled and make the whole company smarter. And that's what we have to be. We have to be as smart as possible because that's the value proposition we're selling out there, that we are a leader in technology and innovation for silicone materials to enable the outperformance of our customers' products. And finally, the Greater Cleveland Partnership has been amazing. Beju Shaw's introduced me to everyone, which has led me to deeper contacts in the middle of the state with Team NEO, and now I'm proud to say we are going to be part of the Jobs Ohio booth at Paris Air Show next month. And so we've been working with Rob Falls, who I met at the 50 Club. So I meet people everywhere. I'd love to know all of you. We are just, again, grateful for the partnership and that you are an accelerator. That's how I think about this. You help me accelerate what we're all about. And this is the welcome and the investment and the willingness to connect me and Novagard to all of you out there. And I have to end with Mead & Moore, of course, because Jim has been an amazing partner as well. So thank you again.
Thank you. All right. Allison, you have been in your community your whole life, right? So partnerships must be kind of second nature to you.
Well, yes. I admit I don't have probably as strong, it is all basically very local for me. As I said, my husband, his experience with the city of Sandusky, I guess, cultivated a lot of a love for economic development, for neighborhood development. And so we have a lot of resources in Huron County as well as Erie County. The Huron County Growth Partnership has really just taken off under Sarah's leadership. We also have the Greater Sandusky Partnership, which is also kind of exploding in our area. So with those, and then also a few years ago, I took part in the Cleveland State Global Target Program, and I've been able to cultivate some meaningful relationships there. So when I have, needs or I need help, which is pretty often because coming from my background and then being thrust into a business, situation, 24/7 basically, I'm learning a lot. We're growing tremendously, so there's a lot of growing pains and just all of our network in our little rural areas are they're very strong and they're very meaningful as well.
Wonderful. That's a good segue into my next question, I think, for both Allison and Sarah. Small businesses, and we'll continue to call Novagard a small business at this point, right? Maybe. When you took it over,
Technically, because we're less than 500 employees.
Okay. So technically. They play a critical role in building a vibrant economy. In fact, the Small Business Association says that small businesses in Ohio account for approximately 45% of total employment, which you guys are definitely examples of, meaning a significant portion of job creation in the state comes from small businesses. So maybe take a minute to talk to us about what has been your biggest challenge in growing your business and how you overcame it. And then also, or instead of, depending on how you want to answer it, what more can be done to support the growth of small businesses?
Well, I can kick it off. Obviously, it's people, right? That's what initially propelled me to say we've got to automate some functions. But not coming from manufacturing, I didn't think about it in terms of smart manufacturing. And I think the connection, I didn't mention this before, but this is a great place to do that. Our connection now with community colleges, with Case Western, Cleveland State, has been really meaningful to us. I was on a panel last week at Lorraine Community College speaking about the upskilling, and they have a great MEMS program, and we're going to do something with them to bring these 3-year associates in and use them in our very complex manufacturing around these superior materials. That is hard to find labor to do that. It's not the same as mixing what we traditionally have made, and that's been a real challenge for us. And automation doesn't solve that because they need to have a much greater knowledge of the materials that they're working with. We also have significantly expanded our co-op intern program, and we're very proud to have, we cycle them through R&D, process engineering, quality management, and they come both as bachelor's, master's, and PhD program recipients. So I have a young process engineer in charge of that. She's 30 years old. I'm paying for her to get her MBA at Case Western. Why? Because I need to retain all this young talent. So my biggest challenge is to grow the middle, as I call it, the people that come into us between the ages of 22 and 35 and keep them in a company like Novagard, which is growing and expanding, but we're small. And so it's hard to challenge for them to imagine a career path into the future other than seeing us as a leader in areas like smart manufacturing. So I call it the digitization of Novagard. Everybody's on board. Our assessment, we're all completely aligned and ready to go. And finally, we're very invested in our community. I adopted the centers early on, which used to be the family centers for families and children, and that's because I met Matt. Matt was helping me out with the controls on the foam line, Matt Lissler. He was head of the board at the time, because I want our people to reinvest back into the communities that many of our hourly workers come from. And we're doing that by volunteering on site and obviously giving them money. So I think it's our people. We've got great people here, but we've got to help not just upskill them, but attract and retain this great young group of talent we've got coming here. I'm hiring more engineers than I ever have. Most of my salespeople are remote, and we're trying to hire very highly skilled, experienced sales leaders now. I don't care where they live anymore. We don't need to be Cleveland-centric. But these jobs here, we must be Cleveland-centric, that we can't have hybrid work. And they have to see me as someone who invests in them first, develops them, keeps them top of mind. And I had a little example yesterday. I always have a work anniversary lunch. And yesterday there were 45 people downstairs, and it gives me a chance to meet all of them. I know everything about them, where they come from, coming in new. And I have to say 2/3 of the room was new. That was a challenge for me. But it's fantastic because the company is a living, breathing organism of what Ohio's all about. And we intend to remain that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Allison, talk to us about your small business experience.
Once again, we are a small family business. My husband and I have 5 sons. The 3 oldest sons work with me every day, as well as 2 of their wives. So 2 of our daughters-in-law also work with me. My husband does not work on site, but throughout the whole factory, we have loads of families. So there are husbands and wives, there are their children. A lot of our teammates, their grandparents worked there since they had graduated from high school. And, in Norwalk, which is about 17,000 people, our biggest challenge, I think, especially since we received the grant, was just like Sarah said, kind of vying for talent. We make about 200 million balloons a year, and somebody has to make those, and it is not me. No one wants me making the balloons. So, just the small area that we're in, vying for that talent for our teammates has been a challenge. And we've done little things along the way, which are very basic, but a lot of our positions are entry-level factory, production, shipping, packaging positions. So vying for that same talent with other small businesses in Huron County was very difficult. We instituted a lot of different things since we've purchased the business. We've raised pay, obviously, improved benefits, and we also switched from a 3-shift workday to a 2-shift, so a 12-hour workday, which wasn't very well received immediately when we did it, but now everyone loves it, and it really has made a big difference so that people have more free time outside of work. So that's kind of the skinny on us.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you. So, Ben, you talked about Howmet having significant presence here in Northeast Ohio, right? You've done 5 or 6 expansions that you've been through, a lot of people, a lot of facilities. What kind of advice would you give to a business that's looking to expand in the region?
Yeah, no, just a couple things, and I appreciate that. It's 2,400 employees, across the state at 7 facilities. So I think the advice, and again, I'm not making the bets as Sarah is and Allison is, right, in terms of putting the sweat equity and grit in. I'm just the lobbyist that helps with the economic development side. So that's the easy part. But it's go in early, right? It's talk to folks at Team Neo who genuinely want to see this region succeed and grow. Explain your market. Explain what you'd want to do, even if you don't have full approval of it yet. That's kind of where a lot of these grants are, and the economic development is, right? It's competitive, it's pre-decisional. So go in early, and that team can walk you through not just the Jobs Ohio resources, but the Ohio Development Authority resources, can walk you through engagement with kind of other entities, the localities, right, which are really, really critical. And so I think you can get a whole sense of this incentive kind of an economic development ecosystem by developing those relationships. And what I found in Ohio is that, everybody wants to see businesses succeed and investment. And I can tell you from looking across the world and in other states, that is just not always the case. And so there is we do have something unique here. We're doing something right? We're bringing a lot of investment dollars that are fungible that can go to other places, and we're winning that because of kind of this openness and understanding and a desire to help business. And I think we've got so many talented economic development professionals in this room that have helped larger companies, medium-sized companies, smaller companies. And I think the other thing that I'd say too is that I don't get special treatment because we're a publicly traded company. In fact, I want to know some of these, the R&D credits here. I'm jealous that you got that one. But I think that's the other thing, that when I hear these stories, right, it doesn't matter what size you are, that these opportunities are available for all of us. And I think that's really heartening to understand.
Thank you. So for those of you who know me, you know I can't get off a stage without asking a question about sites or buildings. So Sarah, when we first met, you were considering leaving the neighborhood in Cleveland, and that's where we started our conversation. But you ultimately decided to stay and to grow there. Can you talk a little bit about that decision?
Sure. It was decided by you because I only got $4 million. Actually, it's the best decision I ever made because it made me focus away from bricks and mortar and realize if I renovated us from within, if I invested in innovation and technology and our people, I would accomplish just what I needed to do, and I didn't need to look beautiful on the outside. I'm not saying we're ugly. I'm just saying we're not beautiful. I'm sure Howmet is, and you are. But it's taught me a big lesson, too. I mean, it is perhaps a little bit more expensive in the long run in the sense that we're going to go area by area, but it's kept our people together, which has been hugely critical as a cultural change matter, because one of the biggest things I had to do was change how people thought. I had to make them Wall Street, New York, agile, fast, keep up with me, but yet stay on the road together and believe that every single person mattered more as much as the team and the company mattered, and that there was too many silos. So all these things were able to be broken down because we were in our familiar place. We just changed how we went about using it. So I'm really, really glad. But I do love that road through the opportunity zone. There was a point when you were showing me real estate out there, and I said, but I'm not sure that would work for us now because we would be too separated from some of the big connection points that we have, and it's great. Customers come in, they stay downtown, they're at the plant in 6 minutes. So nobody's saying, I can't get to you, which could be the case if we relocated to a more suburban thing. We're so central that some of my employees who don't own cars can still take the bus. That's really important to us. We have to have a public transportation system that circles around us. So it's just been, in a backward way and the right way, the best thing that happened. And we put the money that you did give up, leveraged up with others, to better use on driving innovation in the business.
Thank you. All right, well, thank you all so much for coming. I think before we get off the stage, I'm not going to lay you off yet, thinking about Northeast Ohio and your business, and what do you see as the biggest opportunities for the region, for your company, for Ohio, as we're looking into the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, I can start there. I think for us, you know, there's a history in the region of kind of metallurgical expertise, right? And all the things that come with that. And fundamentally, as kind of a metal components maker, and seeing kind of where we're going, whether it was space, whether it's with hypersonics, whether it's kind of hotter engines, I think that is going to be a huge benefit, that understanding of high-temp materials, maybe coated with silicon as well to help them. But I think that fundamental kind of basic science and understanding is going to be hugely beneficial. And we already have that whole ecosystem of non-destructive testing, of tool and die work that we're investing in as well, that exists to support that, and that doesn't go away, right? So I think that's going to be a huge boon and hopefully continue to grow those amazing kind of manufacturing jobs that have powered this region for you know, hundreds of years or you know, many decades. So
What I love about it is the collaboration between public-private, but also the academic side, beginning with the high school programs. We've had high school students in, the community colleges, Tri-C, yes, now LCCC for us. It's just explosive, and we need to make sure, as I said before, that our people grow with us and don't, as opposed to growing ahead of them. So I think the cost of living here is a huge advantage. I think being geographically in this beautiful place by the lake is a huge advantage. And I think that the reinvestment in a way of aviation and defense, along with medical and electronics, and of course the history, massive automotive and mobility. Schaeffler, obviously, I've been to visit them. What a beautiful facility you have. Congratulations. All the kinds of people that we have in there, we attract every economic sector into our companies. We need high school, we need community college that are smarter, we need PhDs, and we need great engineers. So all of them are made here. So when I say, someone asked me yesterday, you sure you want to say made in USA? I said, yeah, I say made in Ohio, so I can say made in Ohio, USA. But it matters because we're also at the center, transportation-wise. You know, it's a logistics place. So people don't really believe that because they used to call us a flyover state because I'm from New York. That's how we viewed us. And I think that it's completely different. If you're in manufacturing and you're driven by innovation, you've got to have access to people and you've got to be accessible geographically. And we are both of those.
I'm really excited for opportunities in with different partners here in Ohio for sustainability in our industry. We are the only latex brand, balloon brand that is made in the USA. So I'm very proud of that, and I want to be on the cutting edge of what technological advances we can do in our industry and bring it. And I feel like we're at the precipice where we have our competitors kind of trying to catch up with us on many fronts. And so I'm excited that they're even at the very local level, like I said, which I'm involved with more, that there are resources there to help us try to cross that goal.
Well, Allison, Sarah, Ben, thank you all so much for everything you do and for being here today.
Thank you.